A good host should be just himself. I think we have to put the emphasis on friendly. You have to accommodate people from around the world with different customs, different beliefs. Show them what South Africa is all about.
What makes a good host is time management, planning, and to be professional at all times.
Planning is important because it provides one with an opportunity to identify loose ends or possible challenges.
So to be a good host is to offer them a lifetime experience.
The best advice that I can give other set members is always to be kind, friendly, and professional.
Your behavior is ultimately a reflection of our brand. Please ensure that you're respectful to every single person you come into contact with while on the hosting at all times. To be a successful host, it is important to do your homework beforehand. Read up on your group before their arrival. Find out a little bit more about their needs and expectations. Get a full briefing by the relevant country manager or project manager. Once you have received the itinerary, make sure all the contact numbers for service providers have been included. Contact numbers are very important, as you need to phone ahead to each point of reference to advise on arrival times, unexpected delays, and the like. Meet with the tour guide before guests arrive to ensure a seamless process during hosting. Before leaving to collect your guests, ensure that you possess all the relevant hotel vouchers and any other vouchers you might need. Make sure you also have all proof of payments with you.
This is your first point of contact with your hosted visitor, so it's important to make a good impression. Ensure that you are at the airport promptly before guests arrive. Allow 1 hour before the expected arrival of guests in order to anticipate early arrivals. You need to bring along a name board. Your board must have the SA Tourism logo and names of the guests, so that you are clearly visible when guests come through the boarding gates. Introduce yourself and make note of their names. Allow guests 30 minutes for airtime purchases, a bathroom break, or to exchange currency. Your guests might need a smoke break. Show them where the designated smoking areas are at the airport. In a case where the group needs to fly to Durban or Cape Town, collect all passports and check the group in for their domestic flight. After 30 minutes, round your guests up, ready for departure. Gather your group together and head outside to the transfer vehicle. Once everyone is seated in the vehicle, introduce yourself again, as well as the tour guide and driver. The time in the transfer vehicle will give you the opportunity to explain a little about the itinerary to your visitors. Always make sure that you remind guests of early morning departures and meal times. En route to the hotel, call ahead to advise hotel staff and management that your group will be arriving.
On arrival, enter the hotel ahead of the group to make sure all is in place for a seamless check-in process. Advise guests of what costs will be taken care of by SA Tourism and what is for their own account. For example, porterage and minibar costs are generally not included. Arrange wake-up calls with the hotel at the end of each day and at check-in. Always brief your guests of meeting times for later on in the day or for the next day. Tell them a little about what is coming up next on the agenda, whether it's lunch or dinner or some sightseeing. Say goodbye to your guests and advise them of the next call time.
Mealtimes offer an opportunity for visitors to relax and enjoy themselves, but there are a few housekeeping rules they need to know beforehand. Brief guests on which beverages they can consume on the SA Tourism account and which would be for their own account. When seated at the table, the waiter will give each guest the menu. Make sure you tell the head waiter or restaurant manager if there are any special dining requirements for members of your group. The general rule is that only soft drinks and 1 glass of wine are paid for by SA Tourism during the lunch meal. If a guest wishes to order additional alcoholic beverages, this is for their own account. Of course, we do make allowances. For example, if the group is going to a wine farm for lunch. Wine for the table can be ordered at dinner time. The wine should be chosen by the host to ensure that exorbitant costs are avoided. In terms of socializing with your guests, be the perfect host and make general conversation, but never talk about religion or politics. Never get too personal with guests either. Let your guests relax and enjoy the food and wine. Tell them a few fun or interesting facts about South Africa, or fill them in on any fun excursions planned for the next day. It is impolite to leave the dinner table before your guests. You are the host and you need to ensure that everyone has finished their meal and are ready to leave before making your departure. Dress in an appropriate manner relevant to activities taking place on the day. Professional, conservative attire is advisable as you are representing the company. Always smile, be welcoming, friendly, and willing to assist. Maintain professional conduct at all times. Do not be rude to guests. Do not be rude to any third party, hotel receptionist, tour guide, etc. in front of the guests. Should a problem arise, be sure to sort it out as quickly and discreetly as possible. Be sure to not make a scene in front of the guests. Do not drink excessively during mealtimes. Do not get involved in any religious or political debates or discussions, especially with the media. Do not request room upgrades just because we are SA Tourism. After your group has left, compile a full report on hosting and be sure to include constructive feedback for products that we used. Follow up on any articles written if media was hosted. It is up to you to show your guests the best of South Africa's homegrown hospitality. So always remain professional, but have fun too.